With us now, Bob Cusack, editor-in-chief for our partners at The Hill, Scott Bolden, attorney, former chair of the D.C. Democratic Party. Bob, if you just strip everything away, right, and you think about we're going into a weekend, the campaign is beginning to shape up, and you've got the entire media world almost like a fish with a hook in its mouth, and the hook is a Donald Trump social media post. That's 2016 or 2015 all over again.
That's right. And you throw in a possible indictment or indictments over the next couple of months. And this is exactly what Trump wants. He's doing well in the polls. He had a tough 2022. Voters in various polls said he was the biggest loser of the midterm election. But now he's actually put some distance between himself and DeSantis in the polls. He's been hammering DeSantis. So even though indictments may be looming, he is still doing well.
Scott, should Democrats be a little careful of what they wish for here? Because the more Trump is vilified, and it is absolutely true from 2016, the more he has something to fight against. The grabber by the P tape, on and on and on. The more he has somebody to fight against, the better he does, especially with Republican primary voters.
But that's the point. He doesn't do well with Democrats or independents, with all the mess and with all the theater and what have you. This is just Trump theater, if you will. He can't grow from his base because independents and moderate Republicans are not going to vote for him. And so the Democrats actually are pining for Donald Trump to win the nomination. They want a Biden-Trump rematch because they're convinced they can win that rematch, and the numbers say so.
Yeah, well, the polling right now, to be fair, every national poll I've seen, the tracking polls actually show Donald Trump up a couple of points. Now, you're going to come back and say, hey, it's very early on. I'll agree with that. But I want to show this other poll to Bob. Do you feel confident that life for our children's generation will be better than it has been for us? And that number is now continuing to crash farther down, now below 20%. The point that it actually was a little bit higher was during the Trump administration. And I'm wondering, Bob, is there a message that Trump can deliver? May not, because he tends to just deal in his own personal grievances these days. But is there a 2016-esque message that he can get back to? And have you seen any desire by his camp to try to do that?
Yeah, Leland, I was not impressed with the launch of Trump's campaign late last year, I believe it was. It was really lackluster, and he was just angling to get in, not a lot of energy. However, now I've seen some more energy from his campaign. He's gone after DeSantis on entitlements like Medicare and Social Security. He's gone after him on ethanol in Iowa. That's a smart move, and I think the more he sticks, at least as much as he can, to policy, it's not a bad thing. So I think his staff has done a pretty good job in going after DeSantis, and DeSantis at some point is going to have to punch back.
Yeah, and look, if the staff, if he sticks to the teleprompter and the speech the staff writes, it works pretty well for him. If he doesn't, we know what happens. Scott, to you talked about wanting a rematch of 2020. 2020, President Biden ran from the basement. He was the anti-Trump. You could put sort of whatever image upon him you wanted. He could be a progressive. He could be a moderate. 2 sentences. Is that Biden's best strategy, is to just run as the anti-Trump again?
Probably, but he won't be able to be in the basement. He'll have to be campaigning, and he'll have to be fighting for this second nomination.
Yep. You said nomination, not election. I'm holding you to that next time. See you next week, buddy. Coming up.